Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Anton. I'm the author of Under the Light of the Italian Moon, and today I wanted to tell you a little bit about why I became a feminist and when I became a feminist, because I think it has a lot to do with ultimately some of the key messages in my novel. And I was at a book club presentation a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about this topic and this story came up and I realized I've never told you guys about it. So I figured I would take some time just to share with you how it all kind of came about in terms of my feelings of feminism. So basically, when I was young, I was able to manage Victoria's Secret stores years and years ago in the mid 1990s. And it was right before I was going to college. So my idea was that I was going to work full-time managing stores, and then eventually I would save up enough money to finish college. And in order to go about doing that, I decided to apply for a scholarship with the Italian American Federation. And so in order to do that, I wanted to kind of build up my application. I decided to do some volunteering at a local nursing home called Villa Scalabrini in Oak Brook, Illinois. And so I decided I would bring a lot of the products from the fragrance room, lotions and things like that, so that I could have some skin-to-skin contact with some of the residents at the home and talk to them and just spend some time with them. And I knew that, touch is really important. So I decided that I would do that. So the first day I came in and they showed me around. They actually signed me to a lovely woman. She had MS and she was in a wheelchair, but it meant that I got to go around the entire nursing home with her and get a tour and meet people. And she was very social. And so she was lovely and introduced me to everyone. And I got kind of a lay of the land for the place. And then after that, they let me come back whenever I wanted and just kind of walk around and talk to people and interact with people. So that's what I did. Sometimes I would go into the TV room where women were sitting and just kind of staring at the TV, letting the time pass. And I would ask them if they wanted me to massage their hands, and I would rub their hands with lotion and just touch them and have contact with them and talk to them, make eye contact with them. And sometimes I would just go room to room and knock on the doors and just say, hey, would you like a chat? And most of the time it was these women sitting in their rooms, staring out into the garden and just letting the time pass by as they aged. So one day I knocked on the door of a woman. I walked up to the door, and outside was it was Mrs. and then the last name, which was an Italian last name. I can't remember what it was right now. So Mrs. So-and-so. And so I knocked on the door and I went in, and it was a very lovely Italian woman, very pulled together, very elegant, sort of, the epitome of what I would want to be as an older woman. Black dress, just very, very, very sophisticated and elegant looking. And she was like most of the women that I walked in on, just staring out the window, kind of letting the time pass as she aged. And I asked if I could sit down and talk to her. So I did. I just sat on her bed and started having a conversation with her, asking her about her life and asking her where she was born in Italy and just, had she lived through the wars, because I had recently been told some of the stories from my grandmother. So I thought, oh, this lady probably did too. And I didn't get into it very heavily, but I knew, she did share with me that she had been there during the war, and then that she had moved over and she was a mother, and she showed me some pictures of her children, which were on her shelves, and there were just kind of a lot of picture frames and so forth, but no one was there, not on that particular day. It was just her on her own. And for some reason, something welled up inside me, something very, very strong, and I got tears in my eyes, and I just started, I almost felt like I couldn't breathe, almost like I was having a panic attack. So I excused myself and I ran to the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror, and I just started crying. And I realized that this woman was sitting alone in this nursing home. Her children, at least at that time, weren't visiting. She was really alone, and she had lived a remarkable life, but no one really could see it, because even her name was erased. Even the name that she was born with was erased, and she was a mother, and she was a wife, and she was hidden behind the name of her husband. And now she was just waiting for time to pass and looking out the window. And that made me realize that I wanted to do something with my life and make a legacy for myself, that I didn't want to just be defined by my children or what my children accomplished, my husband, what my husband accomplished, or even, take his last name so that my original name would be lost. And it was, I really looked at myself in the mirror at that moment, and that was a decision that I made, which I followed through on in the rest of my life, and I'm still trying to do. So I think for me, that was really the moment, that it was a really important moment in my life. And I'm sure she had a family who loved her and who really appreciated everything that she gave to them, and it was a valuable, incredible life. But at the same time, I knew at that moment, even as a 19-year-old girl, that I wanted more than that. And I think I've been working all of these years to try to make more of myself, and also to encourage others to do the same. So in some future videos, I'm going to talk about why I think the culture that we've developed in the world is really continuing to support the men in power and not support women really being able to establish and optimize their skills and optimize their talents and optimize their capabilities in leadership and in creating, basically. So I will follow up with some future kind of, feminist driven, but more so just culturally driven videos in terms of some of the things I think we can do to improve women's lives now in the future for our children, because that 19-year-old girl that I was all those years ago is still under here and is still trying to make something of herself and make a story for others, and also to bring others along on that journey until we can get to equality. So thanks for listening. A little bit about my background, and you can watch the other videos. Enjoy. Go to boldwomanwriting.com and read an excerpt of my novel, Under the Light of the Italian Moon. Or if you've read the book, you can also download the book discussion guide. Thank you so much. Ciao. Baci.